Peace to the family. Peace. How y'all feeling today? I hope all is well. I hope everybody is vibing high, staying within high frequency. This is another episode of Cosmic Connections. And today we're just going to be speaking on the money matrix and how do we heal our relationship with money. Um, Oftentimes, so many of us live in lack, you know what I mean, and fear due to povertized mindsets and conditions that challenge us every single day. We see many of our people just going on that Ferris wheel of working, family, coming home, and the cycle just keep on repeating itself. And to be honest, half of us is not making a sustainable living off of a regular 9 to 5, and that leaves us drained mentally, physically, and spiritually. So how do we get out of this lack mindset? How do we jump off of this Ferris wheel that we're on? The comparisons that we deal with in our minds when we see so many people on social media nowadays just flashing money and they got their riches, they got the cars, they got this, they got that. And, I see so many people not feeling like they are enough, like they're not doing enough. And to that, I'll say everything starts with the mindset. Personally, I've seen someone that was homeless, right, on the street, begging, change their life like that and become wealthy, you know what I mean? And put their family into a position that got them all rich, And I've also seen wealthy men lose it all and self-destruct mentally, physically, and spiritually. So what's the solution to this? And how do we change these? How do we change these mindsets? How do we change these paradigms of living in lack, having lack mindsets, and ultimately, just keep going with the everyday cycle of paying bills, working 9 to 5s, not living in our purpose, not living in our truths, So tap in and tune in, and myself and Fuka and my boy Rex will be on soon. We're gonna give you some insight, and we're gonna build on top of this tonight. So before we get started, Fuka, can you lead us with a prayer?
My pleasure, bro. My pleasure. Greetings, everyone. Glad to have everyone here, and really glad to jump into this, amazing topic. Okay, let us begin with our prayer. Let's pray. O cosmic creator of all radiant vibration, soften the ground of our being and carve out a space within us where your presence can abide. Fill us with your creativity so that we may be empowered to bear the fruits of our mission. Let each of our actions bear fruit in accordance with our desire. Endow us with wisdom to produce and share what each being needs to grow and flourish. Untie the tangled threads of destiny that bind us as we release others from the entanglement of past mistakes. Do not let us be seduced by that which would divert us from our true purpose, but illuminate the possibilities of the present moment. For you are the ground, the fruitful vision, the birth, the power, and the fulfillment, as all is gathered and made whole once more. Let it be so. Amen.
Hey, I say to that, my brother. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
this is to everyone that's in the chat. If you're watching right now, you can comment, and tap in with us. Um, One of the biggest things that I wanted to talk about was what does money mean to us? You know what I mean? Do we see it as a tool? Do we see it as energy? Or is it just a means to an end just to provide a way of living? What do you think
Mm-hmm.
about that, Fuka?
Yeah, you know what you call this, I like to make a distinction, what you call this, between money and currency, because
I
there
bet.
is, what you call this, those papers and those coins, that we use every day, what you call this, in our everyday life, what you call this, And it comes in many denominations. What you call this? We've got the US dollar there in the US. We've got the South African rand here in South Africa. And what you call this? There's nearly 200 of them. What you call this? And these are currency. What you call this? I make a distinction between money and currency. Because we've heard a term, what you call this, that says time is money. My time is my money. What you call this, and what you call this, we have a choice, in how we spend that. So I always like to make that distinction, between currency and money. What you call this, and I guess, in today's world, what you call this, in the corporate world where we go and I guess we go and we work, we exchange our money, for currency, that we use, to do the different things, send our children to school, buy groceries at the store, what you call this, take, what you call this, taxis, buses, on our way to work, etc., etc. What are your thoughts on that, bro?
Um, well, like you said, we say time is money, but we all know that time is an illusion. And we all
Mm,
know that money is an illusion.
mm,
It holds
mm,
no value. You can
mm.
go out here and, chop down a tree and make some money out of a tree.
That's true.
It really holds no real value to it. But
Mm,
what holds real value is your mindset, right?
mm,
And the way
mm-hmm,
that you quantum shift yourself from out of this matrix within yourself, because
mm,
the illusion of I gotta go work to provide for my family. If I don't work, then how everybody gonna eat? If I don't, you know what I mean? And you running circles in your mind so much that you don't even have a chance to even think. And that's why
mm,
so many people don't live in their purpose, right?
mm, mm, mm,
Even if
mm,
you go to
mm.
the biblical text, your gift will make room for you. You know what I mean?
Yes,
So,
yes,
with that
yes.
being said, I think a lot of people get jammed up in this time matrix and on this rat race for money that they forget you are naturally abundant. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm,
So
mm-hmm,
I've learned, just like you learned to distinct money from currency, I've learned to distinguish money from abundance, right? Because
mm-hmm,
money
mm-hmm.
is just physical, it's tangible. I give
Yes,
you $10, you give me a product, right? But
yes,
abundance is
yes.
different. Abundance is the mindset that you carry with you every day, even when you don't have money, right?
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm,
abundance is more than just going out here and getting a dollar. Abundance is seeing
mm-hmm,
your kids happy and being motivated by that. Abundance is seeing your friends around you work their ass off. Just like I see, Kyle work her ass off for this Cosmic Connections platform. Like I see you work your ass off on this Cosmic Connections platform. And that is abundance because we are ultimately living in our truths, right? And
mm-hmm,
the outcome of that may not be right away, but somewhere in the universe and somewhere in these quantum fields, everything is being laid out for us. So you have to
mm.
believe not only in yourself, but you have to believe that your spirit can push through. You have to believe that
Yes.
even when you're at your brokest, you're the richest person ever, right? And
Mm,
then miracles
mm-hmm,
will begin to happen in your life. I've been working 9 to 5 since I was 14 years old, right? And
mm-hmm,
I have
mm-hmm,
just came to a place in my life now that I'm awakened more spiritually that I can't keep a job. You feel what I'm saying? And
mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm,
was talking to Spirit the other day, like, Spirit, why can't I keep a job? Like, this has never been me. I'm always working. I'm always grinding. Spirit said, see, you're always what? Working. I'm always working. But you're
mm,
not what? And I said, huh? Spirit said, you're not living.
mm,
You see what I'm saying? You're not living
mm-hmm,
in your purpose. You're not living in your truth. You going out here
mm,
and busting your ass for a 9 to 5 when you could be busting your ass for your purpose that will open the doors that will bring the money in, and you use that as a tool to create what? Your abundance, right?
Mm.
So now
Mm-hmm.
that I love my clothing line, Eyes Open Clothing, I feel like I'm walking in my purpose. This is a symbolism of,
Beautiful.
the higher consciousness, the higher
Yes.
frequency, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
and even when it's 2 to 3 weeks goes by and I get no sales, oh well, you know what? I got 100 sales coming, and that's how I
Mm.
think now. So now I'm quantum shifting myself into my own paradigm. I'm writing my own narrative, and I'm not on a rat race like, damn, I ain't sold nothing in 2 weeks. Let me try to do this. Let me try to create this content. Let me try to do this. Let me try to get this person to buy this. No.
Yes. Yes.
You feel
Yes.
me?
Yes. Yes.
Relax. Go spend time
Yes.
with your family. Go meditate. Go read a book. Go read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You know what I mean? Go read.
Mm-hmm.
Go do things that feed your mind and your spirit first, and
Mm-hmm.
you'll see all of those
Mm-hmm.
things unfold in your life. And I think the mindset of the people today is so much in fear, due to the news, the fear mongering in the news about the economy, due to
Mm-hmm.
social media. You see all these celebrities popping overnight, and all of a sudden they got all of these riches and this, that, and the third. And you started comparing yourself, and you start beating
Mm-hmm.
yourself down. Now, with that mindset, you ultimately just took away any blessings that may have been on his way, living in self-doubt, right? So that's why I say
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried about the money. I'm worried about my abundance. Because if I'm in good health, if I'm in good mind and good spirit, then the tool money will come.
Beautiful. 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 I love that. I love that. I love that. Hey, what you call this? Here's
Hey,
our
what's up with
brother
it now, y'all?
Kane.
Peace, brother.
Hey,
Peace.
Y'all good,
how you
man? What's
doing,
up with it
bro?
now? Hold up, let me make. Okay, y'all can hear me right, can?
Yes,
We hear
sir.
you all
Yes,
right.
sir.
Okay, okay, and we okay, yeah. I see we live. All right, I came in late, but listen, y'all already know I'm down for the. Hold on, let me grab this shit. I'm ready to go and get to it now.
Yes,
Awesome.
sir. So we was just sitting here talking about. Well, I was just asking Fuka, um, how do you think people feel about money, and how do you feel about money? Do we use it as a tool? Is it an energy to you, or is it just a means to an end to say, all right, I'm just using this to pay my bills?
Uh, I think the last one because
Yeah.
the way I view money is that shit is really like a means to an end. And what I
Right.
say
Mm,
by that, a means to an end is like the only reason that I want to be financially paid is so I can just. It's not even about from a materialistic standpoint. Money in this day and age allows freedom. You know what I'm talking about, to just be able to
mm,
live and just kind of be your own boss, do things on your own terms. So what I feel like is that if you can get enough, now I ain't say rich, enough amount of money for you, you got to remember you can become, because like a lot of people, you don't know who you really are, because even with astrology, because you're not able to express your deepest qualities because your mind's centered around work and around events and all this other shit, and work take up. It's like an everyday thing with work with
Yep.
barely any breaks, right?
Yep.
So I'm like,
mm-hmm.
you got imagine if you had that full 8 hours every day, that shit was paid up. Imagine the crandall you would be, or imagine the fuka you would really be.
Mm.
So,
Absolutely.
so yeah, it's really a means to an end to me. That's what I think about it.
And that's what I was just saying to Fuka, because he said time is money is what people say. And I was just telling him people say that because people don't think about time is actually an illusion. So if
Yeah,
time is money, then what does that tell you? The
yeah,
actual money is just an illusion. You're already living in your abundance if you're living in your purpose.
yeah,
And what I want to ask you, Rex, and you since you just hopping on, so you could kick some of this good astrology and Vedic wisdom on them, because I always
yeah.
love hearing you talk about it, right?
All right.
Um, why do so many people live in their weaknesses and not their strengths when it comes to money? They see so many people on social media, so they want to be a content creator. You know what I mean? I love doing agriculture and working with landscaping and working with nature. But if I didn't find my purpose, I would be over here trying to rap like the next man. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So how important is astrology when it comes to our careers and how we break that money matrix in the way we think about money.
Okay, so some people are destined to go through the type of karmas that they're gonna go through. Because the thing about it is this is like some people do have like remember the whole birth chart is based around past life things, right? So if you was fucked up in a whole duration of your past life when it came to financial endeavors, you gotta remember in this life you're gonna be kind of be more like trying to chase that like you know what I'm talking about success with it, you know what I'm talking about? And this is for like different people because it's like you see some people can get rich, right? And it changed everything in their life. That's a reward that they get in this life from the past life. Like you was good, and this don't mean that they was a good person. This means that when it came in regards to financial matters in the past, you either did what you supposed to do, or you got so close that now in this life, it's like a reward for you to actually be able to achieve that financial. Remember, this is no morality or anything, right? But
Absolutely.
but when it comes to careers and when it comes to money making, everybody in astrology has the potential. Like when it comes to like one of the primary replacements is like the 10th house. 10th house in astrology rules what? Like your career, your notoriety, your status, or mainly your profession in front of a large group of people, right? So depending on what you got there, it that can show you a lot about what kind of career you need to be in. So a lot of people might be searching for this, but if you just follow your 10th house, or if you follow like, but it's stipulation with that because you could have a fucked up 10th house. You follow it and get fucked up. So it's really like you really you really need to get somebody who knows that somebody like me to read it so I can tell you because the thing about it is imagine like me, I know the path I'm supposed to be on. So
Right.
now my mind don't think about being this or no more, this no more, this. I don't have to have those thoughts, which means I don't have to put myself on paths where I'm gonna be confused on thinking that it's right. Now, since I know the actual correct path, I'm just on that fully the whole life. You see what I'm
Facts.
saying?
Yep.
So yeah, when it comes to money matter shit, we really need to know them birth chart shit for real.
Shade of that. That's facts. And
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
so many people never even dive deep enough into their charts. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
they feel like they could just follow behind the crowd and they gonna make it. You feel what I'm saying? But
hell
that's
yeah,
that's that's not the case at all. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
It may be in this
mhm.
person's birth chart that they destined to be a content creator that reach millions of people. That may not be the same for me. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
yeah.
mhm.
What I also wanted to speak on is when the law of attraction. How do y'all feel about the law of attraction when it comes to dealing with money?
Uh,
Uh, Go on, Rex. You
well,
start.
when it comes to the law of attraction, see, see me, I look at everything as purely astrological. You know what I'm saying? Because that's it. Really, essentially, it is. But since a lot of people don't know how serious it is, they don't understand. Like Venus in astrology rules currency and money, right? You know what I'm saying? Like especially like liquid cash. So when it comes to like hold up, say the question again. You said what
Um,
about?
Basically, what does the law of attraction means to you when it comes to money? So for
Uh,
me,
mm,
it just means that I need to use my mind to become abundant first, because that's what I was telling Fuka. Abundance and
Mhm,
money are two different things. I think a lot of people get that misconstrued, right? So in my mind, if I'm using the law of attraction, that means I'm meditating. That means I'm reading. That means I'm strengthening my mental, right? Or I'm going to the gym and working out because that's a great mental release while also working you physically. It makes you think, right? Being at home with the family, right? Because
yeah.
sometimes even kids will give you inspiration, right? So the law of attraction to me is pulling in that abundance while not chasing after a piece of paper. Chase after the abundance and the money will come. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm. Yeah. Okay. So me, when I think about money, I think about this. When it comes to money, the first and foremost aspect that a lot of people just not responsible with it. And so you gotta remember, anything that you're
So
not
true.
responsible with, you will soon find out that that shit can be taken from you extremely easily. You
So
know what I'm talking
true.
about? So it's like not only are they irresponsible with the money, every time they get something, they feel like they just so hot headed to where they gotta go buy something. And I get
mhm,
that. And listen, these motherfuckers love to eat. So it's food. And then you got to remember, just wanting to go somewhere to look good. If you think about it, a lot of people, especially in our community, want to spend a lot of money on the outfit to go around other people to just look good, and other folks say, damn, that person look nice. If you really think about it. So they being irresponsible as hell. That's what it
Right.
really is. Because I think that if more people was, you want to know something, my real opinion on money too, now I'm thinking about it. Me, let me tell everybody how I use money, right? So so like this how I do this shit. I'd rather spend my money more on the experience than physical items. And people don't they be like, well, what you mean? Instead of me buying like a whole bunch of shit, I'd rather spend some money on a certain area to go hang with people I give a fuck about. They love me and I love them. Because you gotta remember, when you look back in life, it's the memories that make life worth remembering and living. So I like to spend my money more on things that I could actually. I love to work my mental and psychological mind frame. Like, damn, I had a wonderful time. I felt so alive. And see, and a lot of people, they don't understand that they feel like that they gotta have this in order to feel like that, when it's really it ain't like this. So I feel like that about money. I feel like you should spend more money on the experience. Not saying you shouldn't buy shit, but imagine taking niggas spend $200 every week on shoes, right?
Right.
So in 4 weeks, that's $600. You could have took a road trip, got a hotel for 2 days, sightsee, went to aquarium, went out to eat, did something that's like, you know what's tailored to that city. And remember that when you go back home, you like, damn, you feel so energetic. You see what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
people not spending their money wisely. That's really what it is.
And that's profound to me because, like you said, the experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even in our first meeting, right, I said, damn, this brother really know what he talking about. I'm not gonna go spend this $40 on some bullshit. Let me get a reading into my astrological chart to learn things about myself that I can help improve spiritually. And people don't sometimes understand that that's an energy exchange. You feel what I'm saying?
It is,
So
yeah.
even though I'm spending this money with you, you feel me? You're putting the energy back into giving me that reading. So it's just going to be returned tenfold because now I have the tools that I need to sharpen me up mentally to go get more of it.
You know what? I'm glad. You know what? I'm glad now. So let me piggyback off that shit because what you said. Now, okay. So let me show you how serious that is. So you see a lot of other motherfuckers charging $1 million for services, right?
Right.
You see, when I read your birth chart, I was able to tell you things about yourself that you was like, damn, right? Like
Yeah.
I haven't been around you, nothing. And I was able. Now think about this. We talked about like the dark side of things, the relationship side of things. So that $40, when you and that should help you out for the rest of your life, because every scenario you get in, you will revert back to, oh, I knew this was going to happen, which makes you yourself choose the good path or the bad path. So ultimately, that $40 leads you to better decision making to keep you out of shit or put you where you need to be for the rest of your entire life. If you follow me.
Absolutely. And not only that, even in times where, right, because at the end of the day, a student is always a student. So it may be times where I'll be like, hey, Rex, I need you to run that back for me one time in this area of my life, that area of my life. Look, I'm sending that now. You feel what I'm saying? And I think so many people within our community, especially the black community, feel like somebody's supposed to discount them for something. Like somebody's supposed to give them something for free when they don't
Man, yeah.
understand it's the exchange of energy. The money doesn't really matter. You feel what I'm saying? So even when you go into a tarot reader, right? And she's pulling these cards from you, she's not just going, hey, let me pull some cards out of a deck. And this what
Yeah.
this means. No, she's using her energy to channel to a higher source. She gets the message through spirit first before she even pulled the cards. You feel what I'm saying?
it's
So,
it's it's the same thing like a trade, right? Like
right.
I have to study, they have to study, we have to spend countless hours studying and refining our readings to help you with your actual life, to change
Exactly.
things, to view your perception, show you how you can get your way out of shit, how you can gain the upper hand and shit. You have to pay for that. Because now I see why some people would say, well, you need, but think about it. We put studying on top of studying. We have to really, like tarot readers, it's probably more difficult to read that because you gotta like the picture. Man, it's so much shit you can say from the damn picture. It's like you gotta really know what you talking about. So of
Exactly.
course, it's like you go to school for a couple years, learn everything. You doing that shit so you can get paid a decent amount, right? That's what I'm saying. It's
Mhm.
like you learn to trade, and people, some
Absolutely.
folks.
And now that you said that, right?
Mhm.
I'm about to segue into another, I think, profound question. Do you think that after this AI period, where AI is coming in and controlling everything,
Mhm.
that money will still be a thing, right? Because people about to start losing jobs, people about to start losing homes, people about to start losing physical things, or
Yeah,
either they go pawn everything off, right? And like
yeah,
that brings you back to your point where we got to get back to the bartering and trading. We have to get back into living abundant. We have to learn how to grow our own food to be able to barter and trade. We have to go out here and learn to go into the mountains and go mine for some gold and for some diamonds, minerals, things of that nature, because AI is about to go on a sweep where money is about to become irrelevant when you ain't got no job no more.
yeah. That's true. And see, the only problem with that, that's why I say, because I agree with that. Only problem with that is that the governments are going to put a stop to anything. Like, see, the thing about it is they want their plan to work. So if
Right.
niggas stop doing that and start going to just like Black Wall Street, they made that, they bombed it.
Mhm.
Anything that goes against their overall agenda, if you want to run a society, fuck the morals. If you want to run a society efficiently, anybody in your society that you deem as disobedient or disrupting to your natural order, you get rid of them by any means necessary. You lawfare, you throw them in jail with false charges, and then you throw them in jail first. Then you find real things in real life they have done to shut them down, and then put up new legislations on rules. You can't do this, you can't do that, because in this dude I watch on YouTube, you know they got RVs and stuff, right? But it's this one city that passed a certain ordinance, you know what I'm talking about, like a rule for like the county or something. You
Yeah.
people can't sleep in their cars no more. So you see
What?
how we really
Mm.
honestly we need our own army, our own military, we need our own air, we need a real if we want to do what we want to really do, we need a real
Mhm.
Wakanda in this motherfucker, honestly. Because if you
I
keep
love it.
doing shit, the enemy gonna look at it like if y'all doing this, that fucks up all their cash flow. Even though we made all the fake money, you gonna make other people realize they don't need our system. So in
Mm.
order
Mhm.
for us, what does a tiger do when you back that bitch against the wall? It lash out ferociously. So everything y'all saying is right, but if put it like this, the government, you can think you can own anything, or you can do something. You piss a judge off, you piss the police off enough, or the government, throw your ass in front of a judge. He signs some papers. Your shit gone. If you don't have enough guns and weaponry to defend the stuff you have, we can't do anything. So we would, with what y'all talking about, you would have to be like overseas in that motherfucker, honestly,
Yeah.
like
You
in
know?
Africa, because over here
Yeah,
they just gonna do like Black Wall Street. Yeah,
Facts.
understood.
I
You
yeah,
know,
feel
that's
that.
true. You know, that's true. That's true. You know what you call this, you know? And I love that, you know, you touched on that, you know what you call this, because, you know, I can say before 2020, you know what you call this, you know,
yeah.
here on what you call this in South Africa and in other African countries, you know what you call this, you know, we did not know much about what black folks in America actually experience, you know what you call this, with regards to the government, you know what you call this, you know, and the system, you know what you call this, you know, that is around you over there, you know.
Yeah.
And in 2020, you know what you call this, you know, it was the first time we actually came to recognize the injustice, you know what you call this, you know, that you guys experience and, you know, grapple with every day over there, you know, what you
Mm.
call this. And I can say, uh, I recognized from there that, what you call this, there was more of how can I say, more of a connection, what you call this,
Yeah.
between what you call this black folks here in Africa, what you call this, and in South Africa, and black folks, they're in USA,
Yeah.
and I can say I recognize that this is something that which, what you call this, your government does not want, what you call this, it does not want, what you call this, you to know, what you call this, that there's another place you can go, what you call this, which is abundant, what you call this, in land, because what many don't know, is that Africa actually covers 2/3 of the known world in terms of land mass, what you call this. We actually have the capacity, what you call it, to hold the whole world's population, what you call this, and still have space, what you call this, for other things, agriculture
Yeah.
and whatnot, what you call this, and I can say there's a proverb that I know, what you call this. It speaks about unity, it says, what you call this, uh,
Yeah.
unity is strength, and division is weakness, and what you call this, for a long time, we have been divided, what you call this, we have been divided, denied, access, what you call this, to share
Yeah.
our experience, denied access, what you call this, to share aid, what you call this, aid one another, help one another, what you call this, and what you call this, just come to know one another, and
Yeah.
what you call this, I realize also, what you call this, is that especially here in South Africa, what you call this, that a lot of our how can I say, public relations, what you call this, is actually it's white folk, what you call this, mostly what you call this, doing that. And I've heard some of the things white folks speak very terribly, what you call this, on public platforms, what you call this, about South Africa. They say it's dangerous, there's a lot of crime, what you call this, and I've never heard anything positive from them, So what you call this, I recognize that it's probably, what you call this, what many Black Americans, think, what you call this, of South Africa. They think that, what you call this, it's terrible, we're backwards, what you call this,
Not at all. When I look at Africa as a whole, and
yeah,
when I
yeah,
think about what you're saying, that is
uh-huh,
to deter us from going home. Because if that's the
yes,
case, and South Africa is
exactly,
so bad, or Africa is a general, in a general sense, look at
exactly,
Johannesburg.
yes,
Look at Johannesburg. Look how rich and wealthy some of those people are out of Johannesburg.
yes,
That is a
yes,
very
yes,
rich and wealthy country in Africa, and so many
mm-hmm,
others. Look at the city that
mm-hmm,
Akon has built in Africa. Africa is
mm,
very rich and abundant, right?
mm, mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm,
guess
mm-hmm.
what? They wasn't worried about money. They used their minerals and resources.
Mhm, and what you call this, you're right, what you call this, like what you call this, before colonialism, you're right, what you call this, you know, uh, we understood our wealth, we understood that, what you call this, what you call this, essentially having 2/3 of the land of the world, what you call this, and the most rich land, the most arable land, the most, beautiful land, what you call this, was a source of power, what you call this. I would say today we're in a bit of a different situation, because after colonialism, pretty much what happened is they came here, they instituted, the system of currency, and what they try to do is rob us of our land. Why do they want to rob us of our land? Because once they rob us of our land, they now have control over our labor. Because now I don't have a choice, what you call this, because before, when I have land, I have a choice. I can either work for you, what you call this, who's, disrespecting me, looking down on me, what you call this, beating me, or I can go and work my land, which is going to feed me, which is going to sustain me, what you call this, and everything I give, it will return, what you call this, so the agenda was to, what you call this, separate us from their land, to take away from that choice, because now I have to go, and work for your company and essentially, surrender my labor, what you call this, coming to what I was speaking about, what you call this, about like the raising of the consciousness, do you know, if what you call this, I would actually love to for you guys, to come through and visit, what you call this, but
Most definitely.
the person, what you call this, white folk, what you call this, when they speak about South Africa, they speak about us badly, but amongst themselves, white folk, they're telling all the white folks, what you call this, to come to South Africa, and when I've spoken to the white folks over here, in South Africa, and I asked them, what you call this, are you gonna go back home, to England or to USA or to Germany, the answer most of the time is a resounding no, what you call this, no, what you call this, and what you call this, many South Africans, what you call this, are always thinking they want to go to England, they want to go to Europe, they want to go to Canada, USA, what you call this, and they don't recognize or know, that those who come from there, these white folk who come from there, what you call this, don't even want to go back, that means that there's something here, what you call this, something here, what you call this, that they love, that is attractive, that they do not get at home, what you call this, that's keeping them here. Why don't they want to go back home, what you call this, that's always been the question that I ask myself, and funny thing, and what you call this, I will say before 2020, it was only white folk who would get off that plane, at OR Tambo International Airport, mostly white folk. But what I love is that today, because the narrative is changing, because we have some what you call this, of our own people in the media space, what you call this, here in South Africa, telling the truth about what they experience here in South Africa, what they experience in other African countries. Now I see that, what you call this, that plane now is actually starting to have more black faces in it, what you call this, which is something that which I have been wishing for, for a long time, because your heritage, what you call this, as a black person in America or a person of African descent in America, what you call this, is here, Them white folk, what you call this, they come here, what you call this, and whenever they go back, they always go back richer, what you call this, than they were when they came, what you call this, and that which they are harvesting, and taking, what you call this, is actually your heritage, what you call this, as an Afro descendant in America or in Europe, what you call this. It's just that, what you call this, we have been divided for so long, you don't know that you can come back, what you call this, fuck the laws, fuck the visas, what you call this, what you call this, this is your home, what you call this, and I would like to encourage more people, black people, what you call this, in the US in this case, to come to South Africa, come visit, see, what is here, see the opportunities. There is a lot of opportunities, what you call this, because what I find most of the time, what you call this, that what we are short of here, in South Africa, what you call this, you guys are not short of there in the in USA, what you call this, like what for one, what you call this, South Africans don't own any banks, we don't have black owned banks, all of them, what you call this, white folk, what you call this. And I was surprised the other day when I was doing some research, and I saw that, what you call this, there in the US, you guys have black banks, what you call this, and a whole bunch of credit unions, what you call this, which we do not have here, and I can see there's a lot of opportunities, what you call this, in our interaction for us to, trade, like you spoke about, trade, what you call this, exchange energy, and what you call this, exchange the things that which we each need and each have, what you call this, and create a bond and a relationship, what you call this, which will take us all forward.
Peace. Absolutely. I shade to that. I shade to that. So that actually had me thinking about my next question for you, Rex, because I know you live by that warrior archetype. I know you live by that warrior mentality.
Yeah.
And if we look back to one of the most wealthiest African warriors that was Mansa Musa, right?
Yeah.
And we seen, even though he was ruthless with no vengeance, he still became the most wealthiest man in the entire world, right? So how does that warrior mentality relates to our finances, right? Because
Yeah.
I see so many people become weak, right? When
Yeah.
they not getting what they want, like the universe just supposed to drop something in their lap. You see what I'm saying? And they don't develop that mindset to go and get it. They don't have that warrior mindset to say, no matter what, I'm putting myself to the test. I don't care who in my way. I'm gonna go get it. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just want you to speak on that because I know you live in that warrior archetype, and I know you could give some good game to the people.
Well, see, so check this out. So I'm originally from Memphis, but I've been living out here. But I've been in Texas my whole 20s, right? So I first moved to Houston when I was like 21. Stayed out there for a couple of years, and now I stay in Dallas. I've been out here in Dallas for a couple of years. I've been living on my own for almost 3 years now. I'm just me by myself alone. No family here. No sisters. No brothers. No friend. No nothing. Just me on my own. One thing that I can tell you about that type of shit is this. Is that you got to have the first and foremost thing. That's what I was saying. You got to have the drive when it comes to make money is to be responsible with it. Because whenever you get it, it's like, okay, you can't immediately just spend it. Like, I got this, I'm gonna go buy this. So you got to have already had the money. Like, okay, if you on a mission, you need everything to complete the mission. So if your mission is, I'm talking about to be financially free and holding it down, every piece of money you get can't be going back out.
Facts.
Something got to be saved, put to the side, and invested somewhere or something. That's what I have learned that shit on my own. So if you have that, that's how. Because think about it, warrior ain't just about going out to go get. It's also about protecting and defending something.
Yeah.
But in the case of the financial aspect, you got to do both. You got to go get what you want. Then once you get it, you got to protect what you have while going back out there to get more. You see what I'm saying?
Facts.
It's like, think about it. When it comes to building like a house, you lay the foundation, and then you put more bricks on top of it till it becomes something whole. That's how people supposed to be looking at their finances. But see, they look at their finances like, I want some fast money. Then they spend it. Fast money really do get spent fast.
Facts.
Like it's like they get some money and for real just spend it. So you gotta remember. So you gotta have the warrior energy. Like, I'm trying to get somewhere and I cannot fail this whole. On God,
Absolutely.
because like me, if I was irresponsible, I wouldn't be able to survive on my own with no family, no help, no friend, nothing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what it really got to be to me.
I think also is bringing the people together, right? Because if I say, hey Fuka, hey Rex, let's start a jackpot. We will all put in $100 a month into this jackpot, right?
Yeah.
And if you need to grab $40 out of there, we come together as a group to make that decision, right? I think that as well would, you know what I mean, strengthen everyone a lot more financially because we got something that's backing each other, right? We got checks and balances within this shit. You feel what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So if I'm doing some frivolous shit, Rex be like, nah, dog, I ain't fucking with that, yo. You gotta chill. I ain't even letting you touch that, right? And we'll have it as to where as though everybody gotta agree, right, on this amount. And let's say we got a bank account where it's locked, right? And until we all come together and agree, that bank account cannot be unlocked and that savings cannot be unlocked. You
Yeah.
feel what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we're building wealth as a unit, but like you said, we also still going out there, getting it, bringing it back for ourselves, put a little bit here. You feel what I'm saying? And then that would
It's
be
a mission.
dispersed out into businesses. So now I can say, you know what, Rex, we got up about 20,000. What you think about starting a school for teaching astrology? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep, it is.
So,
It's always a good idea. It's just like you said, the people have to be responsible enough because that's some shit you got to really. Because people argue and fight about money like that. So the people that you do it with, that they have to be really responsible. And like, it's like if everybody don't listen, like when I was in the army, I learned this real quick because you know if one person fuck up, you get everybody in trouble. It don't matter if everybody ain't do nothing. So shit can go left real fast when y'all trying to get the mission done. Literally, everybody got to be on point. On God, everybody got to be like, you know what? Yes, because if one nigga is off, you can throw up like, especially with some money shit, you can throw off the whole trust, the whole routine, the whole process, and then now you turn everybody off from it, and then make everybody selfish again. And that's what the issue is. So if you can get some decent people that's responsible and treat this shit like a mission and not like just some like, oh damn, I'm broke again. I need $40 a year if you know what I'm talking about?
right, exactly.
Yeah. So if people don't think, even in relationships, if you don't think like it's a mission or a duty or responsibility, you gotta remember because missions, duty, or responsibility come with what consequences. That's why a
Right.
lot of people can just do whatever because they feel like there's no repercussion to their negative actions until they compile up and then explode on them in their face. So when it comes to the money shit, you have to have people that see this shit like a mission. Business partners, they think like this. You get this, you take a trip over there, you get this, you sign this deal, hit me up, tell me about it. I'm gonna give my team. We're gonna see. It's a whole systematic process. But at the end, when you strip all this fancy shit away, it's a mission. You trying to get something, he trying to get something, I'm trying to get something. We need each other to get it. Let's not bullshit with this right here, because this source spreads out between three of us. We put this shit together, now we're able to get whatever the fuck we want. You have to think like a mission at all times when it comes to,
Facts.
it's my teamwork.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people got the game, a little fucked up because in my mentality, they say a broke nigga ain't got nothing to lose. A broke person ain't got nothing to lose. A broke person got everything to lose. You feel what I'm saying? A broke person can lose their family. A broke person can lose their own mentality. They can lose their mind behind that shit. A broke person has everything to lose, right? So they have everything to gain. But on the other end, a wealthy person has nothing to lose because they feel like they got it all, which eventually turns into them losing everything, if that makes sense. You feel what I'm saying?
You
And
know,
why do y'all think that is?
well, you know what? My favorite character actually said, one of my favorite characters from a video game I played, he actually said exactly what you said. When the world was ending, I was playing a video game. When the theme about it was the world is ending. He got to save everybody. He said exactly what you said, but it's a little bit different. He said, I don't have anything else to lose, but I got so much to gain. You see what I'm saying? So I understand exactly what you saying. It's other people. If I seen it on there and you said it, it's other people that know that that's true. It's
Right.
like you feel like if you don't get if you really don't have nothing, the only thing that you got is to gain some shit. Like I tell people, if you at the bottom, the only way to go is up.
Facts.
Yeah, but see a lot of people, like you said, the mentality shit, they mind stuck in the cage.
Right.
The mind stuck in the cage and they holding the key. Ain't that crazy?
Facts.
Right, right.
Facts.
That is
Facts.
true.
Because
You
they
ever
not living
seen
in that abundance. You feel me? And me
you?
personally, I really do believe in parallel universes. You feel what I'm saying? You probably broke
Yeah,
as fuck
damn, yeah,
here, but you rich as fuck in the next universe, or you feel what I'm saying, or whatever, and your
yeah,
higher self is trying to
Mhm.
talk to you like, motherfucker, I need you to live in abundance in your mind first. I need you to know that you rich even if you only got one fucking cent to your name. I need you to know that you
Mhm.
rich so I can pull that shit from here and give it to you. But you
that
Mm.
still in a
mentality.
fucking rat race and you still worried about what you don't got, you'll never be able to reach where you're supposed to be. You feel
Ever.
what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Mm. Mm.
And that helped
Mm.
me
Mm.
realize, like,
Mm.
damn, at the end of the day, wealth is not for everybody. You feel me? It's only for the chosen. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, I wanted to segue into my next question because I seen a post on Facebook. Spiritual people should not be working 9 to 5 jobs. How do y'all feel about that? I think of course, honestly, because you create the environment that's around you. Of course, you're gonna have motherfuckers that's at low level and low frequency. That's everywhere you go, right? But
Yeah,
if you can't deal with that and handle that and push through that and move forward within your mission to eventually pull yourself away from that, then you probably do need to be at a 9 to 5 because you walking in your purpose is going to be way harder than that 9 to 5.
Mm.
But
Mm.
how do y'all
Mm.
feel about that?
well, when it comes
Yeah.
to that, I don't. I think that we need to use the jobs as a means to an end.
Right.
Use that shit to stack
Yes.
up and invest. Because the ultimate reality, we a lot of us just want to be free, but we can't just do. You got to remember, a lot of our businesses just ain't gonna take off if we don't have the right supplies or the right. So I believe that we should work them jobs and get as much money and spend it and save it, invest wisely, so we can escape. Like put it like this: it's like a nigga want to do freelance maintenance work, right? So the thing about it is, he should work at the actual 9 to 5 till he get enough money to buy his tools, the truck he need, all that. So then now he can go do that shit like easy. Cause see, a lot of people want to just get out the 9 to 5 with no plan. Then they end up
Exactly.
needing money. Got to call aunties and mamas for favors. Can I live with you? You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's like you use the job to save up to get like me. I used to try to do a prep when I was way younger. I was trying to do a pressure washer company. But I'm like, the
Right.
only way I can do that, I gotta have money for the pressure washer and a truck for it. But
Right.
how am I gonna get that quickly?
Right.
You gotta remember, like selling dope or some shit, like that money, you don't make enough of that money to like like put like this, you know for a fact you getting paid whatever you getting paid hourly, you pay every other Friday, right? When it comes to selling drugs or anything like selling like jewelry or tarot reading, astrology, the money that coming, it's like it
And
varies.
spurts.
So you need to stick to a maintained source, snatch all the resources up from that, spend this shit over here. Now boom, pressure washer, truck, name tags, cards. So I get enough clientele. I don't gotta do that. You see, so you use the job to get free. You
And
don't use the job to stay at the job.
and not only that, right? People look down on 9 to 5s, right? Because they say, I gotta be my own boss. But at the end of the day, have you even took a chance at that 9 to 5 to see how the company is ran inside and out? The HR department. Have you seen how certain things work within the system of how they pay their employees, right? Because you
Yeah.
want to be your own boss, but what if your brand grows so large and now you don't even have the mentality or the business savvy to even keep up with that? You see what I'm saying? Now you
Mm-hmm.
losing money. Let's say my clothing brand go multi-million overnight, right? But I
Yeah.
haven't had a set example of a business plan or a business model to go reference to keep their company afloat. So now
Yeah.
I'm spending all this money on inventory. I done spent all this extra money on marketing. Ain't shit working. I'm blowing money on this. I'm blowing money on that because I don't have a business plan. I don't know how the inside of a company truly works. And that's what I take away from every 9 to 5, from how they boss treat their employees to how the employees get paid to how the HR treats their employees, to how revenue is made and how it's gone back out, right?
Yeah.
Because you watch like let's say Amazon, right? You know, I used to sit there and just watch when shit get damaged and what certain systems they use to recover that without spending so much money on buying a new item, getting it reshipped, getting the shit back out to the customer, things of that nature. You feel what I'm saying? So everybody want to be a boss and all of that, but sometimes you need a 9 to 5 to help you grow a mindset of a business. You know what I mean?
Because being your own boss is paperwork, phone calls, and payment schedules.
And customer service.
Yeah,
You
customer
don't even know how
service.
to deal with people. You a mean motherfucker, and you talk to people crazy, but you want to be your own boss.
Yep, because you got to have good people skills. When you're trying to make money in deals, you got to remember, even if you ain't a good person, see, the thing about that is perception. No matter who you is, perception is reality, for real.
Right.
It matters how people see you. That's why we'll see like people like Donald Trump or some shit that be doing crazy shit, but a lot of people see him as that businessman that made it to the top, and that's all they worried about.
Exactly.
So it's the perception that creates the reality, even though it can be unfair sometimes, because it can be people who get picked over you and they fucked up, but the perception of who they are in other people's eyes, they not fucked up to their supporters and their money source. So you gotta actually, you know what they say, you gotta fake it to make it. That shit for real. That's a real thing, because if you can fake something so much, you could fuck around and become that shit all by accident.
It's called delusion. Facts.
Exactly. You got a hallucinatory type of vibe in front of people's eyes. They like, we don't care who he is. He does this for us. We see him like this. We are fine with that. Like the whole R. Kelly thing. No, the Usher thing. The nigga so-called got herpes. Our folks don't give no fuck because of how they perceive him. He's famous and he's handsome to people. As long as your perception sits a certain way in people's minds in this world, you can do whatever, honestly.
That's fast.
Powerful.
I want to get on this. Conversation just to dive a little bit deeper into the evolution of money. Do you think that the currency of the dollar bill will be replaced by gold, silver, things of that nature, or will it be digitized into crypto? Because I see a lot of people winning off of crypto these days, right? As the dollar bill is becoming more and more de-evolutionized. You feel what I'm saying? So how do you feel about that? Do you think it's going to be a bartering and trading through minerals, or do you think that this crypto is really going to destroy the dollar bill?
Oh, wonderful question, you know. And I would actually, I'll say, you know what you call this, I'll actually dive in, you know what you call this. I think let's just take a moment, you know what you call this, to go to commercial and, you know what you call this, you know, share our sponsors, and we'll be right back, and I'll dive right into that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome.
If you've finally reached a place in your journey to where you are just over feeling not enough, you're tired of feeling trapped in a box that you've been put in, and just fed up with feeling disconnected from your higher self, please join me May 17th in my internally transformative, perspective expanding self-empowerment masterclass. This class isn't just about information, but transformation. Imagine feeling empowered and in control of your life and internal reality, more confident, self-assured, as well as finally having that deep sense of peace at all times, knowing that you are always just enough and your power is always within you. This 3D class is designed to give you a practical and easily understandable understanding on how you can overcome and rise above fear, lack mentality, insecurities, inner child wounds, and trauma, so that you can reclaim your divinity and remember who you are in divine confidence. To lock in your seat in my Empower Me Masterclass, please visit www.sacredmelanatedalchemy.com and use discount code Konnectionz at checkout to get 10% off.
Hey everyone, this is Gia and I've got a amazing deal for you. This is a chakra guide that you need to have. This chakra guide will help you understand, identify, and unblock each of your chakras. You'll learn about each one, its functions, what exactly the chakras do, and this will help you really be in tune with your body and how it corresponds with each of your body parts, internal organs, and all of that. You'll be able to keep a log of your chakra clearings and really understand how to unblock these chakras. If you don't know how to scan and clear out your chakras, this guide will give you a step-by-step instruction. So don't worry, I got you covered. This chakra guide is available now for download, and you can use the discount code Kozmic Konnectionz for 10% off. Get your copy now.
How you doing, my beautiful brothers and sisters? If you're looking for an all-natural brand, Ancestor Hands is that brand for you. I invented this brand to give people like me a great product at a lesser price and made sure I kept all the harmful chemicals out of my products. Ancestor Hands is more than a brand, it's a movement. So leave those chemical brands alone and come home to Ancestor Hands.
Ancestors Hands specializes in natural skin care products. Make sure you guys go visit www.ancestorshands.net. I promise you guys you will not be disappointed. I can say that firsthand as I have tried his products and they are superb. So tap in.
Yo, what's good, family? This your boy C, and here at Eyes Open Clothing, our mission is to leave every single customer with a smile. We aren't just your regular fashion company. We thrive on targeting our soul tribe, attracting positivity, abundance, good health, and new connections, and looking.
Y'all see the drip? Okay, you know how I had to call myself one. To my listeners, you guys can go visit www.eyeopenclothing.com to purchase your fit today. And last but not least, make sure you guys visit www.cosmickonnectionz.com if you guys are interested in having your business featured on one of our episodes. Check out our website to view our sponsorship packages.
We're back.
Yes,
Wonderful
sir.
question, Crandell. Wonderful question, of course. And I'm going to try and summarize this as best as we can, because, what you call this initially, what you call this money, the way we know it, what you call this in terms of that note, the notes and the coins, what you call this, is what we use. We used to barter, barter was the initial mechanism of trade, and then what you call this, as time went by, what you call this, gold, what you call this became the standard, what you call this, we would trade gold coins, and what you call this, in some places we would trade using gold dust, and then what you call this, the note was created, and the note, when it was created, what you call this, it wasn't the way it is now, what you call this, it was still backed by gold at that time. What you call this, you could always trade the note for gold, what you call this, at any time, what you call this, what you call this, in the US dollar at some point, what you call this, was on the gold standard, what you call this, but then there was a president who made a decision that he's going to take it off of the gold standard, and what you call this, we got this round where we saw more this currency we know of today, unbacked by anything, and what you call this, this created an issue, now, because what you call the central banks, what you call this, could print money as much as they want, what you call this, there's shortage of money, what you call this, just make new money, I don't have to make sure that I have the gold reserves, what you call this, in order to make sure that, what you call this, it's always tradable, and then the US dollar, what you call this, gained its prominence, its dominance, what you call this, when they had an agreement with Saudi Arabia, what you call this, that Saudi Arabian oil, would only be sold in the US dollar, what you call this, and it became, what you call this, the petrodollar, what you call this, and what you call this, and that's because of that, what you call this, a lot of countries took that as used that as a reserve currency that they use in their trade with one another, and then what you call this, interesting thing happened, what you call this, crypto, what you call this, the first crypto was launched, called Bitcoin, Bitcoin was launched, and what you call this, its success, what you call this, really was based on something. It was based on the fact that there's a limited amount of coins that will ever be made, Bitcoin, so in that way, it's not like the currencies that we have today, where you can just print and print and print and print, so what you call this, those who hold, what you call this, their money in crypto, what you call this, find that year on year, they have more money, they have more money, they have more money, what you call this, in terms of what they originally had, they are seeing percentage growth, 50+%, and I would say in the past 2 years, what you call this, interesting things happened, what you call this, the BRICS countries came together, what you call this, and they recognize that this thing of us trading, what you call this, in the US dollar, what you call this, doesn't make sense, because one, what you call this, we are allies, but yet we have to go through a proxy in order to trade with one another, why don't we trade with our own currencies, what you call this, why don't we leave this agreement that we had, what you call this, and start trading, what you call this, in our own kind of currencies. So for example, if, what you call this, the trade is between India and South Africa, what you call this, South Africa gives India some rands such that Indian businesses, and what you call this, can buy from South African businesses, the India gives South Africa some rupees so that, what you call this, South Africa and South African companies, can buy from Indian companies, what you call this, in the Indian rupee, and in this way, what you call this, we get around this bottleneck, what you call this, of having to have enough dollars, what you call this, in order to trade with one another, and then another interesting thing happened, because in the whole wild world, what you call this, what you call this, Black people, we only have one central bank, what you call this, before the early 90s, what you call this, we had no banks, had no central bank, what you call this. But today we have a central bank. The Central Bank of Zimbabwe is owned by Black people, what you call this, owned by the Zimbabweans, run by the Zimbabweans, and what you call this, I think last year they did something revolutionary, they minted a gold coin, and then early this year, they created a currency called Zimbabwean gold, Zimbabwe gold, what you call it. It's a currency backed by their gold, that they have, what you call Zimbabwe is having a gold rush right now, what you call this, based on gold, what you call this, and day by day you can see, what you call this, more and more trust is being put in the Zimbabwean gold, what you call this, than in the dollar, what you call this, more and more trust is being put in the cryptocurrency than on the US dollar. And more trust is being put in other currencies, you know what you call this, by other countries that are realizing that this thing of us using the dollar is causing a bottleneck. We can't even trade properly, you know what you call this. We can't share ideas properly. We can't share business models properly, you know what you call this. So what I see happening is more and more, you know what you call this, because of mismanagement, you know what you call this, because of mismanagement, you know what you call this, of the white folk there in DC, you know what you call this. Less and less do people have trust in the US dollar. They have more and more trust in crypto. They have more and more trust in what you call this, in their own currencies, in their own countries. And they have more and more what you call this trust. Trust has always been there for gold-backed currencies, like the Zimbabwean gold, you know. And then on top of that, you know what you call this, there's interesting things happening in West Africa, you know what you call this. A new bloc has formed, you know, what you call this, of three to four countries, which is Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, and Chad. It's called AES, you know, and they want to form a currency, one currency, you know what you call this, for the four countries, you know what you call this, instead of having four currencies which they trade amongst one another.
That's deep. That's deep right there. I love that right there. I love that. So basically, you know, once we get back to the black dollar, then we'll be wealthy again.
Yes.
Whether that's through
yes.
digitized, whether that's through silver or gold, once we get back to the black currency, I'll put it, then
Yes.
we'll find some form of wealth.
Yes. Totally agree.
I like that. I like
totally
that.
Agree.
Anybody else, you know, want to chime in or say anything before, you know, we wrap up?
I think when it comes to like the general basis of what everything should be is that you really do need a strong foundation. Like when they say teamwork make the dream work, the governments do it. They all together and they said we want to run this bitch a specific way, and them niggas have done it. You know what I'm talking about? But think about it, everybody, where the majority of them motherfuckers was on the same team forever, and they've been governments since we had governments. You see what I'm saying? Even if motherfuckers tried to overthrow or out it, the government was so powerful that bitch never failed. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm like, if we want, like, because I think people like, we really should have a motherfucking real life Wakanda for real.
Yeah, for real.
But if you watch both of the Black Panther movies, them Wakanda people, they look more peaceful and like they not on no hating crazy shit. It don't seem like it's a lot of ghetto fuck shit going on.
Right.
So we really got to weed out like a lot of them bad apples. Honestly, it's just for real. So I feel like in order to get any new infrastructure, we gotta regulate shit and be disciplined and be ready to punish people who step out of line. It sound fucked up, but that's how you run a kingdom. You know, even on Black Panther, when on the first one, when the Eric Killmonger dude came, the Black Panther, the Chadwick Boseman, the one that died, he had to fight to stay the king.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? So it's always some form of like supremacy is going on. And you see how one man hollered at all them people and had the motherfucker shook in that hole?
Right.
You see, it has to be like a form of like, you know what I'm saying, teamwork that's not scared to like put people in their place when they act up, because you got to really set a lot of nowadays you have to set a lot of examples, because if you don't, motherfucker just gonna do whatever, and then boom, that's how kingdoms fall. So that's what I believe in the last word. So yeah. What about you, Fuka?
Yeah, you know what you call this. I totally agree with what Rex is saying. You know what you call this. You know, teammate work makes the dream work. You know, and what you call this. Another thing, you know what you call this. You know, we must follow in the footsteps of the Zimbabweans. You know what you call this. You know, because the Zimbabweans, you know what you call this, when they kicked out the British, you know what you call this. You know, they took their destiny into their own hands. They took back their land, what you call this. They took back their minds. They took back their banks, what you call this. And they were like, what you call this. We are kind of, out of experience, what you call this, in terms of running these things and running things ourselves. But we are going to learn, what you call this, whether we have to, what you call this, run through the mud, what you call this, and get dirty and, and make mistakes and all of that, what you call this. We are going to do it because we must have our own institutions, and we must have, what you call this, the ability, what you call this, to govern ourselves, to have what you call the self-determination, what you call this, and go through those hard times, what you call this, learn how to work with one another, what you call this, learn how to overcome problems, what you call this, and then eventually we will now have our own things, what you call this, our own institutions. We will now have our own voice. We will have our own direction, our own mission, and we will not be stopped by anything after that. We will be great. We will be together, and we will win.
I know that's right, man. I think my last words would be to the people, man. Um, Abundance is your birthright. You know what I mean? Abundance is your birthright. You are wealthy in all forms and facets. You know what I mean? And tap into who you're supposed to be spiritually. What I do is I write out affirmations and mantras on my ancestor money, and I put it on my altar. And once, spirit has confirmed it, I burn it to release it. Now I'm letting go of any attachments to it, and I just let it go into the universe and into source and watch it happen. You feel what I'm saying? Be confident, like Rex said earlier. Be so fucking delusional within your mind, family, that it's no other way that it's gonna happen but for it to happen for you. You know what I mean? Get back into practicing and blending spirituality with forms of making money. You feel what I'm saying? Get back into your meditation. Get inspired by something other than what you see on social media. Go outside and play with your kids. Go talk to your kids, and they will give you inspiration. Stop looking for these get rich quick schemes on social media. Stop looking for somebody to give you something. Ain't nobody gonna hand you nothing. You tap into yourself. You tap into your higher power. You tap into your mentality. Tap into your warrior mindset, and don't let nobody stop you. You feel what I'm saying? And get around a good team with some good people, man. And I promise you, you're gonna make it. I promise you, you will become wealthy. Now it's up to you what you do with that power. You feel me? Because anybody can have power, but a great man knows what to do with that power, and especially when it comes to money, because it can build you up, but as quick as it builds you up, it can destroy you. You feel what I'm saying? So those are my last words. I wanted to thank both of y'all for tapping in. I want to thank everybody that's on the platform, Kozmic Konnectionz. If you want your astrology readings, tap in with my brother, Rex Angel Kane, or you can go on his page, Kane Ultima, give that energy exchange to learn a bit more about yourself. You know what I mean? If you're feeling lost, you having mind fog, you feeling confused about your career, about your finances, about your money, tap in with him because he'll get you right. You feel what I'm saying? And tap in with my boy Fuka on his book. You know what I mean? Where he breaks down so much into divination. What you see behind me. As far as Egyptian hieroglyphs, affirmations, money mantras in his book. How to mentally tap in, with higher beings and higher realms and tap into your higher self, And with that being said, I appreciate y'all guys, man.
Are you good,
Thank you,
man?
bro.
Listen, I'm
Thank
glad
you,
you got
bro.
your shout out. So yeah, if y'all want to come holler at me, anybody, you already know where to find me at.
Yes, sir. Oh,
Yeah.
speaking on that too, Rex, you owe me a live, Rex. You owe me a
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
So if y'all still watching, we gonna let y'all know when we going live for real. You know what I mean? Because I want to dive deeper into that warrior's mentality for the divine masculine out there. Stop being a bunch of weak ass suckers to the life around you, to the women around you, to everything that's trying to keep you enslaved in your mind and your spirit. Step up, or step down, and let the true warriors handle this.
That's true.
Peace, love, and light. With that being said,
Nah, for real.
Awesome.
Well,
You
yeah,
know, and
but
then
no, you go ahead.
go on. Oh, if anyone want to tap in with me, you know, simply go to my website. You know, it's www.mafaataro.com. That's MAFAATARO.com.
And there we go. Let me see. But yeah, y'all. So yeah, I appreciate that. So yeah, Crandon, me and you, I got a 3-day weekend. Saturday,
okay, that's
Sunday,
a bet.
Monday. So it's so whichever day you want to, it's cool.
Okay, say less. You down for tomorrow?
Tomorrow Friday. Oh damn, surely tomorrow. Yeah, we can do it. Tomorrow Friday. I ain't going to the gym neither. So yeah, around the same time too.
I'm gonna hit you in the inbox and just grab a time from you.
Okay, cool then.
Yes, sir.
Well,
I appreciate y'all, Kings.
All right then, man. I'm holler at y'all.
All right,
cheers,
peace.
bro.